Om Shanti, 8th April 1982. Today, Bap Dada is seeing his special souls who are great donors and bestowers of blessings. The basis of becoming a great donor and bestower of blessings is to become great renunciate. Without becoming a great renunciate, you cannot become a great donor or a bestower of blessings. To be a great donor means to be someone who gives selflessly to other souls all the treasures he has received. Only souls who are beyond selfishness can become great donors. A bestower of blessings will constantly experience himself to be full of the treasures of virtues, powers, and knowledge. He will constantly have elevated and pure wishes for all souls and will always have the elevated desires to benefit all souls. Only those who have such elevated desires are constantly spiritually merciful and generous hearted can become bestower of blessings. For this, it is necessary to become a great renunciate. You have been told the definition of renunciation. The first renunciation is the renunciation of the consciousness of your body. The second renunciation is the renunciation of the connections of the body. The first connection of the body is with the physical senses. The second step is to become a conqueror of the senses and to become someone with all rights over them. You have also been given a clear explanation of this. The third aspect is of the relations of people with your body. Both lockic and alokkic relations are included in this. You have to be a great renunciate in both these types of relations. That is, you have to be a destroyer of attachment. The sign of being a destroyer of attachment in both types of relations is that there will neither be dislike for anyone nor will there be attachment to or dependence on anyone. If you dislike anyone, then the defects of that person or actions that you don't like performed by that one will repeatedly disturb your intellect. Even against your conscious wish, you will automatically have wrong ideas about that person in your thoughts, words, or dreams. You will try to remember the Father, but that soul will appear in front of you. Similarly, for a soul to whom you are attached or dependent upon in your heart, they will automatically attract you, even against your conscious wish. That soul will attract your intellect with his virtues or love, and a soul you dislike will disturb your intellect because of your selfish motives not being fulfilled. Until those selfish motives are fulfilled, the karmic account of the opposing that soul in your thoughts and action will continue. The seed of dislike is a royal form of a selfish motive. That is, should do. This one should do this, he shouldn't do that. This should happen. In this way, desire of what you want to happen forges a wasteful relationship with that soul. Because of constantly having wasteful thoughts for a soul you dislike, you spin the discus of looking at others. This wasteful relationship will not even allow you to become a destroyer of attachment. There wouldn't be love, but out of force. What do you then say? I am so fed up. Of course, the intellect would be pulled by whoever is making you fed up. Your time will be wasted in that. Your intellect will be wasted in that, and your powers will be wasted in that. Therefore, the first one is this relationship. The second one is attachment or dependence on the basis of perishable love or attainment, or because someone has become a temporary support for you. This too pulls your intellect towards itself in terms of both lockic and alokkic relationships. In lockic life, when you receive love, support, or attainments from bodily relationships, you have special attachments for those people. Then you make effort to break away from that attachment and you aim to stop your intellect being pulled by them in any way. After you let these go, it is these same things with the alokkic relationships that pull your intellect. That is, they easily make your intellect depend on them. These two are relationships with bodily beings. When you experience a problem in life or there is some confusion in your heart, Even against your conscious wish, you will only remember the soul who has given you some temporary support. Someone who has given you some temporary attainment or a soul to whom you have attachment. You won't remember the Father. Then, once again, what do the souls who have such attachment think and say in order to justify themselves and defend themselves? That the Father is incorporeal and subtle, that someone is definitely needed in the corporeal form. However, you forget that if you have the relationship of all attainments with the one Father, that if you experience all relationships and you trust and have very firm faith in the bestower of support, then although Bapdada is incorporeal and subtle, he is bound to you in the bond of love. He gives you the feeling of the corporeal form. What is the reason why you don't experience this? Through knowledge, you have understood that you have to have all relationships with the one Father, but you haven't brought all of those relationships into your practical life. This is why you are unable to experience all relationships in a practical way. Since on the path of devotion, the most elevated devotee, Meera, didn't just have a vision, but also had a practical experience. Then can't the children who are embodiments of knowledge, the direct children of the ocean of knowledge, experience through the corporeal form, the one who is the basis of all attainments, the Father, the bestower of support? So, why do you put aside the almighty authority and make souls who are number wise in their capacity your support? Therefore, you must always also keep this very deep account of karma in your intellect. The account of karma is very deep. You must understand this. When you take some temporary support from a soul or you make someone the basis of your attainment, then because your intellect is dependent on that soul, instead of becoming karmatit, a bondage of karma is created. One gave and the other one took. There was thereby an exchange of a soul with another soul. Therefore, did you create an account through the exchange of give and take, or did you finish something? At that time, you feel as though you are making progress, but that progress is not really progress, but an accumulation in your account of karmic bondage. What would the result of that be? A soul bound by a bondage of karma will not be able to experience any relationship with the Father. A soul who has the burden of karmic bondage will not be able to experience being completely stable in the stage of the pilgrimage of remembrance. Such soul, such souls will always be weak in the subject of remembrance. They may be clever and sensible in listening to knowledge and relating it, but they won't be senseful. They will be serviceable but will not be a destroyer of obstacles. They will make service grow, but that growth won't be through the right method. Such souls become speakers, but because of their burden of karmic bondage, they are unable to progress with speed. That is, they are unable to experience the speed of the flying stage. Both of these types of relationships of the body don't allow you to become a great renunciate. Therefore, first of all, simply check your relationships of the body as to whether you have attachment to anyone in terms of dislike or in terms of attainment or support from them. That is, check that your intellect is not dependent. If your intellect is repeatedly pulled to someone, or if there is dependence on someone, it proves that there is a burden. Something that is burden always bows down. Therefore, this too becomes a burden of karma, and thus, even though you may not want it to, your intellect does bow down there. Do you understand? As yet, Baba has only told you about one thing connected with the body. Therefore, ask yourself, have I renounced all relationships of the body? Or have I only renounced everything with the Lokik, but then forced them with the Alokik? Souls who are going to become karmatit also have to renounce this bondage of karma. So for Brahmins, renunciation of these relationships is true renunciation. So, do you now understand the definition of renunciation? Now, Baba will tell you more later. This is a weekly course of renunciation. Has today's lesson become firm? The speciality of Brahmins is to be great renunciates. Fortune cannot be attained without renunciation. You don't think just because you have become Brahma Kumars and Kumaris that you have renounced everything, do you? The definition of renunciation is deeper for Brahma Kumars and Kumaris. Do you understand? Acha. To those who are constantly selfless, to those who are benefactors for everyone and accumulate by using all attainments for service, to those who are constant bestowers, the children of the bestower, to those who are selfless in terms of taking any temporary attainment, to the elevated souls who are great donors and bestowers of blessing, the ones who constantly have good wishes and benevolent feelings for all. Bap Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste.